Hi, everyone, and welcome to the shit show. It's been a
Hmm.
while since I've said that, but here lately it really does feel like it's been a shit show.
Well, if how the world is right now, yes.
Yeah, but anyways, this is the Wayward Dragon podcast where we talk about, all the medias that we've been imbibing and all the information that we've been imbibing and stuff like that, and talk about whether we've been enjoying it or not. We are two nerdy friends who have known each other for well over a decade.
Yeah.
I am Johnny, and my co-host is Kelsey. And I'm sorry if I feel or if I sound just completely the.
Yeah.
Uh, it is like what the
Yeah.
fuck is going on with the world right now?
For real. It's so messed up right now. It is so messed up right now. But before we get into that, what is one positive thing that has happened in between?
Um.
I'll go first.
Oh. Okay. No. Go ahead.
Um I've mentioned before that my husband and I are starting our homesteading process. So I, the other day, have started curing bacon. First batch bacon. We're going to see how this goes. We're going to see how this goes. And they're going to make a Shrek 5. But that's all. Yeah. Making some coffee bacon and some spicy bacon. And we got Shrek 5 going on.
Well, hopefully that goes well.
I'm hoping. It's first time. I got to flip it actually after we record. After we get done doing this. You're supposed to like flip it once a day, wait till it gets firm, wash everything off, and smoke it. So we're gonna see how this goes. What about you?
Well, the only thing I've really got is, and I guess, well, I guess I can just go ahead and talk about this in a little bit of depth here. So there's a card game that I have been playing
Okay.
since high school called Magic the Gathering.
Oh yeah.
So it is a fun trading card game with over like 90,000 different cards, and I'm not even exaggerating there. But they have a new set coming out. So the way the cards work is they do sets, and there's different art styles for the different sets, and all sorts of fun, different like weird backstory, and it's overall it's really cool. So the
Yeah.
new set they have coming out makes me super happy because um, it's called Bloomburrow, and a lot of the stuff is like, medieval fantasy and like different worlds, or, like high tech fantasy and robots, and
Yeah.
it just depends on which realm it's in and which set it's in. Depends on what you have coming out. So this one, Bloomburrow, is all anthropomorphic animals.
Okay.
So you have like all sorts of cute little dumb creatures, and like some scary ones. So think like Redwall, or if you ever watched that or read those books uh, when you were younger, think
Yeah.
Secrets of Nem.
Okay.
So like those kind of creatures. But there is, uh, and I'm gonna send you a picture of this guy
Okay.
if I can get my computer to work.
I was like, we've already had some technical difficulties.
Yeah, I might just have to pull it up on my phone and send it to you. So yeah, it's not coming up. So, anyways, there is a card that is out that I want to build a whole deck around
Okay.
because his name is Flub. It's Flub the Fool, and he's a little frog guy. Uh,
Okay.
and I mainly want to do it, partly want to do it because of that. But this makes me so happy. So I'm sending you, because the artist that was involved with this knew exactly what he was doing, and I'm sending you two pictures. One of which is Flub the Fool, and the other is the Fool tarot card. They did the art for it like the tarot card, and so he is like the same pose, everything. They've, similar garb. Instead of the little dog on the traditional tarot card, they have like a little bug, and then the flower that he holds in his hand is just fucking massive. But this little doofus makes me so happy.
They did. He looks just like the fool.
It makes me so happy, and I'm
That is
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. No,
He literally took the
so
fool from tarot and put a frog face on him.
the cool thing is with Magic is when you buy these cards, you're buying art because like the majority of this art, I can't say all, but the majority of this art is all still done by hand by artists,
Oh wow.
and so it's like paintings and sketches and stuff that are done by artists,
Okay.
and they usually have like the artist credit at the bottom and everything else. But yeah, so this is dumb and it makes me happy. That's kind of the best thing. But I have been consuming a lot of the different art that's coming along with this set because it's just so freaking cute on some of it and really cool on the others. And a lot of the mechanics that are going to be coming into this set are really fun. Uh,
Yeah.
so I have, I'm really excited about that. But we can, if you want, we you can take it and talk about what you've been reading and stuff. Because my reading that I have done is not the uh,
Normal.
best news, and I'm probably going to take up a good bit of time talking about it.
It's okay. So I finished Starter Villain by John ScalziThe. This is hilarious. I was really hoping this would get turned into a series. But yeah, if you like kind of dry sarcasm and like kind of funny, cozy sci-fi, this one was really funny. Um, the premise is Charlie's dad just died not that long ago. He's fighting with his siblings over the house that his dad kind of um, gave him to kind of get on back on his feet because he's recently divorced. Finds out kind of distant uncle dies, and he finds out that not only is his uncle a bajillionaire, but he's a villain. And kind of that whole business of there's there's unionizing dolphins and there's talking cats and um, his uncle put into place a plan that Charlie just unfortunately is the catalyst for and the kind of he's the starter. Unfortunately, he's just the person that this all happens to, unfortunately. um but it's very funny. I thought it was very good. And then I got one of my husband's former coworkers that he still works with, his wife Kaylee recommended The Only One Left by Riley Sagar. I'm about a third of the way through this fucker. Whoever reads this, we need to check on them. This is not okay. It was written last year, it came out last year, and it fucked with me for a minute because it's written in the 80s, specifically the Ronald Reagan administration. Oh, normally, unless I've kind of I know it's like historical or something. Everything is in like the now timeline, unless I am given clues otherwise. So Kit is a home caregiver, like kind of hospice end of care. And she got suspended from her job for killing a patient. She didn't necessarily kill the patient killed themselves because they were in a lot of pain. And that's a story, that's a discussion for another day of euthanasia. Whatever. We'll talk about that in a later day. Um, so after she comes back from her suspension, her boss gives her a job, and she's to be the hospice nurse of like the town boogeyman. Her name is Lorena, and one night her whole family got murdered. And she was the only survivor, and she was the one that doesn't. She has no stab wounds, nothing. Um, and she's dying of like strokes. She's had a series of strokes that has left her mute. Um, no one is who they seem to be. No one is who they actually are. Some of the abuse that Lorena went through was fucked up. It don't matter if your dad's rich or not. Like, you find out, like, her dad put the lock, like, the lock in my bedroom when I was a kid was on the inside. Like most doors, her dad put the locks on the outside and would lock her and her sister in. And whoever was the last to give up determined how long the other one stayed in their room, like locked in their room longer. So her dad like played like psychological abuse.
That's fucked up.
And yeah, no one is who they say they are. If you've read this, somebody needs to check on you. This is holy shit. So I'm excited to finish this, and then I'm almost done. I did my normal thing. Where I picked up a series.
In the middle of the series?
No, but almost.
Okay.
So there's only two. There's a prequel, and then there's a first one. The prequel is The Daughter's War by Christopher Buehlman. And then the first one, the first actual book in the series, is The Blacktongue Thief. If you liked Kings of the Wild, this kind of gives similar vibes to Kings of the Wild. Kind of, it's not as funny, but you still get like that D&D kind of vibe through it. Kinch is your main character. He's part of the Takers Guild, so he's a thief. And majority of the thieves have black tongues and like black mouths. Because it's like everybody, there's a guild for everything, and you got to pick one to be a part of. And Kit is given a task. He has to follow this woman, but this woman's on a task to find a long lost queen to put her back on her rightful throne. I've got a couple hours left in this audiobook. But yeah, if you liked Kings of the Wild, this would be I would say this would be a next one, good one to read. But yeah, I got them out of order. I got the prequel. I got the first one before I realized there's a prequel. So I did my normal stuff, but it's very funny. The audiobook's like less than 20 hours. It's like a 400-page book. It's not, but like he's got to do this mission to clear his debt with the Takers Guild. There's like a shape-shifting assassin that's with them that hides in a blind cat. So they're like on all these adventures, and this cat's just like tagging along, and they're all like, what the fuck? Kind of thing. There was like a 8-legged witch that they had to talk to at one point, who has a pumpkin like henchman. He's made of pumpkins, and she just like kind of snaps her fingers, and he materializes or kind of falls apart, which was kind of funny.
This sounds like a silly fun time.
Yeah, I was like, it gives me Kings of the Wild vibes. If you like Kings of the Wild, this would be something I would recommend. Of like, you might like this, because it gives very similar vibes. It's just there's not as much like sarcasm, and it's not as funny. So yeah, that's all I've like kind of read. That's all I got. I haven't really watched anything.
So I have been, fuck it. We've said before we weren't going to get political on here, and we've done it multiple times.
Yeah, but I think this is different.
Fuck it. No, fuck it. Because at this day and age, you can't not be political.
No.
So here's the deal. I've been reading up on this bullshit that is Project 2025.
Yeah.
It's an 888-page document that says a bunch of stuff.
Holy shit.
Yes. That's why I feel like it sucked up all my time. So here are a few highlights and the page numbers for references, and you can get the free PDF online if you want to read it. I would suggest for your mental health to only read it in spurts and not read the entire thing in one setting, because it is a lot to digest and it is fun.
It's a heavy document.
I will say now that, a lot of the information has started coming out about this and people have started speaking up against it. A certain presidential candidate has now said, "Oh, well, I'm not about this. This isn't who I am," because he's afraid of losing votes.
Yeah.
Even though it's literally his party's whole agenda. Um,
Yeah.
but here's a few of the snippets. So if you read on page 449 to page 503, you will see that they are pushing for a complete ban on abortion, except abortion without exceptions,
Nope.
meaning that it doesn't matter. You're gonna have to carry that baby to term. It doesn't matter if you're a
Yep.
12-year-old girl who was raped.
Nope.
It doesn't matter if it's causing the mother problems or anything like that.
Or she
It's
might die.
it is going to be a federal offense to it's going to be a felony. It's going to be a felony to have an abortion.
Yep.
On page 545 to page 581, they are pushing to eliminate marriage equality,
Yep.
meaning that any marriages between same-sex couples are going to be completely out the window.
Yep.
And I'll get to a little bit of this later on, but it could also mean that it could dissolve the, I forget what the act is. Let me look it up. See if I can find this. But it could end acts that were put into place to allow for mixed race marriages.
Yeah.
It could, so from on page 581, they're looking to eliminate unions and worker protections.
Yep.
And while unions sometimes take advantage of people,
They do sometimes.
this is just fucked for so many reasons, because that means that it's going to take away the need for companies. And the whole reason why companies have HR now is because of the unions.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, we have unions, so or we have HR, so it serves the purpose of unions, which it doesn't. For one, it's there to protect the company. But for two, it's it'll completely eliminate unions and workers' rights.
Yep.
In other words, you would have no protections in the workplace.
No.
Page 133, defunding the FBI and Homeland Security. Now, I am not the biggest fan of Homeland Security and FBI and CIA and all that shit. But the problem is that they are sometimes necessary.
Yeah.
Their whole purpose is to keep certain threats to the country in line, both internal and external. If you defund those, guess what? And they're not talking about defunding the military. They're talking about defunding Homeland Security, which is two different things. So that would mean they still have the power and the force to do what they want, but they're not held in check.
Nope.
Eliminating federal agencies such as the FDA, EPA, NOAA, OSHA, and more. That's pages 363 to 417. So that means that you can literally put garbage in food, and you can put whatever. There's no regulations on what you're putting in. They don't follow the regulations now, or the regulations are loose now, but it'll be a lot worse.
And I was like, a lot of people are struggling or waking up in that way, like here in America. My husband and I are one of those people. They put absolute garbage, and then you loosen the terms, it's just going to get worse.
And the amount of dietary issues that people have because of the stuff that they put in food, and because it's not affordable to eat healthy.
No,
because,
it takes a lot.
It's only the people with money can actually eat healthy, because you look at all the crap they put into everything.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. On page 133, they talk about mass deportation of immigrants and incarceration in camps, quote unquote.
Yep.
Meaning they're talking about doing the same thing they did in the internment camps, to the
Mm-hmm.
Asian Americans during World War II. They're talking about doing the same
Mm-hmm.
shit they did for, and I'm sorry. First off, I'm a firm believer that borders are stupid, countries are stupid, but the fact that, and I get the whole, well, we need to delineate where the tax dollars from that area goes to and where the laws stop and start. I get that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it is stupid to prevent people from looking for a better life
Yeah.
and trying to have a better life. But they're wanting to basically put these people in concentration camps.
Yeah.
End citizen birthright, or birthright citizenship on 133. Again, that would say that just because you're born here, if your parents were illegal, guess what? That means you're still illegal.
Yeah.
That means that they could take it and take a child who, parents searched for a better life and came to the country illegally and put forth the effort to, do better for their children that are born here. They can still just take it and throw them out with absolutely nothing and lose everything they have.
Yep.
And the government can seize all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
On page 691, they're talking about cutting Social Security and Social Security benefits. That
Yep.
means that people who use that, who need the money, who struggle, it doesn't matter because
Mm-hmm.
they won't have that. They will have less money, and Social Security is cut so far anyways. Even though
Yep.
we put so much into it, that our
Yeah.
generation probably will never be able to retire to pull money out of Social Security.
Yep.
On top of that, on page 449, they talk about cutting Medicare,
Yep.
meaning that people who can't afford assistance or can't afford insurance are just
Yeah.
going to have to die or, be more and more in debt and go to debtor's prison. Page 319. I was going to say 319. 319. Same thing. Shut up. Um, they
I
are
saw
wanting
the wheel moving.
they're wanting to eliminate the Department of Education. And while I do have issues with the Department of Education because they, especially in recent years, since the mid 80s up
Oh
until
yeah.
now, they have pushed testing over actual teaching
Yes.
because teachers don't teach, they train to answer questions
Yep.
like robots to
Mm.
fit into a society. Um, but they are looking at completely cutting or eliminating the Department of Education, which means that schools can teach whatever the fuck they want to, and
Yep.
they can make laws in that area to teach whatever they want to. On top of that, on 319, they are going to require teaching of Christian religious beliefs in public schools.
Nope. You have separation of church and state, folks.
That they're throwing that
Separation.
out the window. They are throwing that out the window. They are going to force children to learn the doctrine of that is the
No,
Christian
no,
faith.
no, no.
And while I see no issue with teaching that, if you're teaching it objectively, but you also need to be
Teach
teaching it,
everything else.
teaching everything else, and teaching that there are options and that there are different faiths, and this is how different faiths practice.
Yep.
But this is going to be forcing a certain ideology. It is going to be brainwashing children.
You're gonna have a lot more people homeschooling.
Yep. Using public taxpayer money for private religious schools, meaning that they're going to have separate schools that are going to be private religious schools, and they're going to be
Yep.
using public taxpayer money for those schools. Which I'm sorry, if you're a private school, you should not be getting taxpayer money.
No, because you are getting paid tuition for people
They're
to
going to
come.
end the Affordable Care Act, which means that, hey, guess what? Even though shit's not affordable anyways, it's going to get worse.
I read an article that made me want to pull my hair out that said that inflation's not here anymore because for the first time in years, grocery prices went down last month.
I would love to see the data that backs that up.
And I'm like,
And also, that's not how inflation works.
no.
That's not how inflation works.
Like, that's not how this works.
So everyone is going to have to either be celibate, start doing butt stuff, or doing things that are like, anyways. The reason why I say this is because they are going to ban all contraceptives.
Yeah.
I do
mean,
not see it on this list and I don't have, and that's page 449, as well. I don't see it on this list that I have. I don't remember the page number that was on it, but they're also going to require secondary school students, so middle school students, to take the ASVAB, which is the vocational aptitude test for the military, and push more for recruiting at younger ages. In other words, what they are doing is they are stripping away the basic construct of education, putting
Yeah.
in Christian fundamentalism in
Journalism.
there, and forcing um, Christian nationalism into
Yeah.
the school system as an
Make,
educational
yeah.
curriculum, and then brainwashing these children into thinking
Mhm.
that they should be going into the military. Like, if you go in the military, that's fine. That's dandy. That's all on you. If if that is what you feel like you need to do, or if you need to do that for education, that is on you. I fully support you as an
Yeah.
individual. I do not support the wars that we fight needlessly. I do not support a lot of shit like that. But as you as an individual, I will support you if that's what you
Mhm.
feel like you truly need to do. However, this information, this stuff should not be forcefully taught
Mm-mm.
to children.
Mm-mm.
That is indoctrination. That is exactly what and it's crazy because these a lot of these people who are pushing for this shit are the same people who complain about communist regimes and stuff like
Mhm.
that when you are doing the exact same
Like
thing
same
that you
thing.
accuse them of doing.
Yeah.
You push against socialist reform, yet you are doing the thing that you accuse socialist countries of doing. But
Yep.
back on track. They're doing additional tax breaks for corporations in the top
Yep.
1% on 691, meaning that the wealthy are going to get more money and they can, you know, smooth around and basically bullshit stuff at the
Yep.
corporate level and fuck
Mm-hmm.
people over even more and
Yeah.
get people money.
This is a there's a guy's his handle is cancel this clothing company. I've talked about him before. He goes through all the grocery stores and lets you know what's a mega corporation, what is family owned to take down the big part of the 1%.
Um,
Honey, you got a friend behind you.
yep. Uh, on page 545 to 581, and civil rights and DEI protection from in government. Basically, what that means is that they're going to end any sort of women's rights,
Mm-hmm.
rights for people of color,
Mm-hmm.
protection for people of color, um, queer people. So
Yep.
anything that is diversity or anything like that in the workplace or any sort of government, they are going to completely eliminate that.
Yep.
Which means, hey, you can discriminate against people. They are going to, on page 319, they are going to ban African American and gender studies in all level of education. In other words, they're again controlling what they're teaching people
Yep.
and can shape an ideology so they can have the mentality and the structure of white Christian nationalism.
Yeah. I was like, we're just now getting women's studies for women. Like
Well,
menstruation studies are done on
yeah,
women type thing. They're just now testing menstruation products with menstruational blood. Like, come on, guys. We're very much into like past when this should be. And yeah, it just came out that Tampax. Side note, Tampax. It was just released.
the
Um,
chemicals.
that the chemicals that are in Tampax, huge levels of arsenic, huge levels of lead.
Ah,
Um, I personally use the company called the Honey Pot. Um, it's she. It's a weird story how it happened, which is kind of why I like using them. It's a very small company. It is a black woman owned company. Um, she got a dream from her ancestors to start this company. It's completely like holistic stuff. You can get medicated and non-medicated pads and tampons and stuff like that. Like, guys, you have to do your research into your food and the stuff that you're putting onto your body or in your body if you're using like tampons and stuff like that. You have to do your research. They do not look out for the best interest of us at
nope,
all. Like,
no.
they've been putting stuff in women's products for a very long time, and they're just now starting to reveal what's in them because they do not have to disclose the ingredients on those
And
products.
soon they're going to take it. They're not going to be able to even look into that shit.
Yeah.
Um, On 4/17, they are ending Climate Protection Act, meaning that companies can literally just dump whatever they want to wherever they want to. They can put so much like smoke and shit out and everything else. They can put as many pollutants into the airs, the waters, they're going to, on page 363, they are pushing to increase Arctic drilling, which means more fracking, more oil drilling in like Alaska and stuff like that to fuck this country even more.
Yep.
And then finally, they are going to deregulate big business in the oil industry. In other words, again, they are going to say, hey, let's see how much we can fuck people over.
Yep.
Because that's all they're worried about is they're worried about keeping control. They're worried about getting more money. They're worried about pushing their ideology and their system out into the world to force people into an idea set.
Yep.
And
it's maddening.
It is fucking bullshit.
It is. Yeah, and it's scary. It's really scary.
I've really been contemplating something, and I kind of want to do it, but I don't know if I should. So it would be me starting another podcast.
Okay.
And the idea is basically because I keep seeing people are like, we need a revolution, we need a revolution. Well, we need a voice for that revolution.
Yeah.
You can't start a fire without a spark.
No.
And
our generation is very much waking up.
I feel like I have to be that spark.
You gotta do you.
So I may be starting a second podcast soon, and it will be very political. It will be very open about a lot of topics. And I will be speaking very frankly. I will be getting very angry. I will not be watching my words.
No, we very much watch our words here. There's too much
scary
stuff going on.
I'm still watching my words right now, but like I said, fuck it. The time for not being political is over. The time for being nice is over. Because, you're literally, it's these rich assholes who are using their money and using their ideologies to force it on other people to attempt to gain control or keep control and to get more money and more power. And, it's funny because a lot of people who are like, oh, well, they're not that bad, blah, blah, and they'll take it and they'll talk about like some evil cabal or like the Illuminati or some shit like that. And of course, they always blame Jewish people because those types of people always are anti-Semitic. But that's a whole other conversation. But they're anti-Semitic when it's convenient.
Yes.
Because now they're saying that anti-Zionists are anti-Semitic, even though Zionism and being Jewish are two different things.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's not for this podcast.
When that came out, it's very scary.
All of our listeners, I recommend this to anyone out there in the World Wide Web that is listening that wants to look into Project 2025 overall globally to look into it. But I highly recommend any of our U.S. listeners to look into this. And I know that it's a lot. I know that some of it's scary. But here's the thing. We need to not be scared.
No.
We need to not make complaints. We need to take action.
And make sure you vote. Gotta make sure
we need to take action, because if we are not taking action and we are not taking actions into our own hands, then they win.
Yeah.
If it's okay to be scared.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You need to take it and use that fear.
Yeah.
To defend yourselves, to defend your loved ones, to defend basic human rights.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're taking away. That's what they're trying to take away. They're trying to kill us all. Slow, like faster and faster. They are trying to force radical religious beliefs that don't even follow the original doctrine of what they supposedly believe. They're trying to push division between social class, or between races and between ethnicities, and it's not okay. It is not okay.
No, there's a girl I used to know back in preschool, and she has a beautiful banner outside of her house that hangs very proudly outside of her house. And it says, "Vote for your daughter's rights. Don't vote for mine. Don't vote for my mom's or my aunt's. Vote for your future daughter's rights, because that's what you're voting for.
Yep.
It's not my rights. It's your future daughter's."
Yep.
So think about that. Like, would you want your daughter to grow up in this? Nope. No way. No way. Like, and I definitely think our generation, we got some stuff that's going to change, I think, with our generation. We are very much becoming a very woke generation. We're doing our research. We know that not everything you read on the internet is true, and we're waking up to the political agenda. And a lot of us are not just going to bow down and take it. There's a lot of stuff, I think, in store for our generation with this country, and it's going to be very scary for a while, for a very long time. But
yeah,
it's scary stuff. I saw that come out and I was like, this November is going to be very scary.
It's
very, very scary. And if he wins, a lot of people are going to be leaving this country. A lot of people.
Well, they're gonna try. The thing is that they don't make it easy, and unless other countries are accepting refugees, it's not going to be easy.
Yep.
So
that's the scary part.
Yeah.
Yeah, we normally don't get political here, but this is something totally different. This does not feel political. This feels targeted. Very targeted.
Yep. So on that note, I want to say that I appreciate every one of our listeners.
Yes.
You guys are awesome. Keep yourself safe out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Make sure that you're fighting for the right cause. Make sure you're fighting to protect those you love, and make sure you're fighting to keep the rights of those you love.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not voting for. You're protecting the future. Honestly.
Yeah. 100%. So that's my closing remark. I don't know if you have anything else.
No. Besides, we've lost some very interesting people this last week. We lost Shelley Duvall from The Shining. We lost Richard Simmons. You said Ruth. Who did you say? That one psychologist.
Dr. I bring a blank on her name too.
Yeah.
I'll say it. Dr. Ruth Westheimer. Dr. Ruth Westheimer.
Yeah, I just look up and I think her name was it's not Caitlin Doherty, is it?
Shannon
Doherty. She's famously known for being on 90210.
Charmed.
Yeah. She unfortunately lost her battle with breast cancer, I think.
Yep.
So that kind of sucked. She's been battling that for a minute. I want to say we lost somebody else, but
the kid from Alf.
Yeah.
But I think that about ties us up here. So, leave rates, reviews, subscribe, whatever you want to do with that.
Tarot cards.
Oh yeah. So, did you want to start with our tarot readings, or do you want me to? Because given what I've talked about today, my tarot is interesting.
What did you pull?
I pulled the Ten of Swords.
Oh, and I pulled the Two of Wands. Okay. I can go first.
Okay.
So, keywords are planning, making decisions, and leaving home. To encounter the Two of Wands is to encounter a moment in which we must ask ourselves whether we will be going forward into the open unknown or whether we will stay in what is safe. We search for answers on whether the journey will be worth it and what we should do to prepare inside the crystal ball. Inside the sphere is an image of the world, and there is no small, and here it is so small that it seems as if it is already here for the taking. That Did not.
Okay.
That didn't sound weird. That sounded weird to me. When we last encountered the wands, they were given to you full of hope and inspiration. Now that you have them, you must consider carefully what you will do with them. Cards lesson: I give myself permission to dream big.
Okay. Interesting.
No.
So the Ten of Swords shows a man laying face down, apparently dead, with 10 swords sticking out of his back. A red cape draped over his lower half of his body as a sign of dignity as he leaves this world. While in the dark skies ominous above, the sun is rising on the horizon, bringing a renewed sense of hope and opportunity. So what does this mean? The Ten of Swords marks a painful yet inevitable ending. For example, a relationship may come to an abrupt end, or your job may be cut, or a contract is broken. It is as if this ending has come out of the blue and rocked your world. You could have never expected it, but now it has happened, cutting to the core, uh, and leaving you feeling as if the world has crumbled in around you. You are grieving the pain of the shocking loss and wondering if you will ever love or find work or truth or trust again. There's a lot more to it than that, but for me, with your card, and this could just be with what I've been talking about, I feel like this is a call to action.
Yeah.
I feel like this is we're going to be hit with a heavy blow, and we are being hit
Yeah.
with a heavy blow,
Yeah.
but we need to take it and stand up against that and push against that.
Yeah. Use it kind of as that stepping stone. You're going to take a big hit, but use that to empower yourself to
Yep.
move that journey forward.
Yep.
When whatever that is, whether you take that with the current political scene or whatever you've got going on in your life, kind of thing.
Yep.
So yeah, that's, I would interpret it that way too. You're gonna have a big hit.
As soon as you started reading yours, I was just like, "Wow, that's interesting."
Yeah, you're gonna have a big hit, but use that hit to propel yourself forward. But also stand up for yourself in the process.
Yep.
Kind of thing. Use that blow, make yourself armor out of the blow to keep going forward.
This is when you say, "Fuck that." Keep fighting.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel right now with a lot of things.
Yeah.
So please join us for our next review episode, or our next normal episode. You can join us on Facebook and Instagram at The Wayward Dragons. You can join me on Fable as The Wayward Daughter. Please rate, review, subscribe. Please tell a friend. If you have a recommendation of a book for either one of us, topic recommendation, or just something you feel like we need to see in general, you can email us at thewaywardragons@gmail.com. And yeah, so until next time.
I'm Johnny.
I'm Kelsey. Bye.
Bye.